few ways to do that, to find the pullbacks in an uptrend on our platform. And let's now switch to the platform. And one way is to use the trend ratings, the short-term, medium, and long-term, on the signal summary. In fact, actually, our signal summary has this strategy predefined. Now, there's many ways to skin the cat and many ways to sort of find these opportunities. One of them is here on the signal summary under the strategy blocks section. Here, pullbacks in an up or down trend. Obviously, if you were going to short, then you look at the bearish setups. But in our case, we're looking to go long. We're looking for bullish setups. And in fact, we're looking for 1 day time interval. If you're trading on the lower time intervals, like an hour, you could use those links as well. But what this means is that the first one says pullback 1 day in an uptrend. That means that when I click on this link, I'll see coins that are in an uptrend, but are trading down for the last 24 hours. And that's the 1 day here. The second one, pullbacks with 1 week, is similar in that we're going to get in our results, we're going to get all the coins that are in an uptrend, but are down for the last week. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on the second one. Let's see what happens, what kind of results we get. Now here again, I would probably modify this result by saying I want a minimum market cap so we don't get a bunch of tiny little caps. All right, so we're down to 7 items. All right, let's take a look. Now, oops, I meant to click on the charts, but now take a look at the criteria of this filter right here. Okay, so this is the predefined criteria of this filter. So let's start with the second half. Short-term, medium-term, long-term trends are up. Not strong up. It's not, we're not being so uptight about it. We're saying it's enough that it's up or strong up. This will capture both up and strong up. But more interestingly, on the left-hand side here, you see that MACD is above MACD signal line. So there's a bullish MACD crossover. Okay. Also says that 1 week performance is less than 0%. So that means it's negative in the last week. And also that RSI is below 70. So it means that it's not overbought. Okay. And I know we haven't covered RSI yet. We will in the future lessons. But for now, just keep in mind that RSI is anywhere between 0 and 100, 100 being extremely overbought, 0 being extremely oversold. When it's extremely overbought, there's a tendency for it to pull back. When it's extremely oversold, there's a tendency for the price to bounce back. But in any case, let's see what we've got in this goodie bag here. Binance coin, that's interesting. Let's take a look at the chart. Get rid of these drawings here. Now, when you take a look at the chart, it's good to kind of zoom out, get rid of all the other indicators and noise, and zoom out and look at the big picture and say, okay, where is my support? Where is my resistance here? But first of all, I look at it, all right, the pullback is quite small here. But that's fine. Let's move on. Let's continue with this example for now. Where is my resistance here? My resistance is going to be somewhere here, right? So what is resistance, you ask? So that brings us to the other topic of this lesson. What is support and resistance? Well, support and resistance are areas where a lot of actions happens, right? That's where buyers versus sellers overwhelm one or the other group. You know, like example here, clearly when the price got up here after this tremendous run in August, it tried, and this is, by the way, about $500. If we zoom in, the buyers were not able to push it over. They tried again and failed. So the holders of the coin and other sort of market participants, maybe short sellers, said this is a $500 level, and often happens around round numbers, is where the buying dried up and the selling increased. The buyers were trimming their positions or completely exiting their positions. Then the sellers, sort of short sellers, started piling on as well and said, we think this is, overbought here. This price, this coin is too expensive at these levels. Okay, so these are sort of psychological levels that actually manifest themselves in the price action, and after that happens a couple of times or 3 times, then that becomes the resistance points. We now know that 500 is going to be a level that's going to be tough to cross. Okay, so typically we look for levels that have had multiple touches and were not able to the price was not able to break through above that. For a support level, it's the opposite, right? It's an area where when the price pulls back to a certain level, we've seen it bounce back because the buyers step up. And so psychologically, we can explain it as by an example. I mean, there's so many times when I'm sure you've seen a coin rise and then just pull back. I would be all over it at 400 or 300, right? And that's what happens when it does pull back. And all those market participants who were left out in that early trend, perhaps, they're all over it. They're like, hey, it pulled back to the level. I really liked it. I wanted that. I wanted to pull back to this level. So that's when the buying, starts up again. So in this case, and there could be multiple support levels, and sometimes the support levels get broken, and the next support level sort of holds. Like in this case, I'd say the $400 seems like a pretty straightforward support area, right? It's held here, although then it was broken. It held here a little bit as well, not a little bit, but completely. In fact, this was one of those pullbacks and bounces from this level, right? But there's another support level that's a little higher if we pay attention, because I want to capture this support level here, as well as this one and this one. And this is why it's important to look at the big picture, because if I just look at the 3-month picture, I'm not going to see what happened in the springtime and what levels it actually bounced off of. And so it's important. Now I got 3 supporting data points here, that there is probably a support level here that looks like maybe around 450. And again, it's typically around the round numbers. About 450 is about right here. Now, it's never an exact point. It's a zone. Really, it's really what I should be drawing is really a rectangle like this. It's a zone, all right? It's a zone up here as well. So we've got to give it a little bit of room to breathe. Okay, now it's gotten really busy here, but I think you get the point. And so in this case with BNB, now I can zoom in a little closer. So we think that 450 is a support, the closest support zone. So now I zoom in a bit. Now this pullback is not quite to 450. I guess may have been right here. Let's see, the low was 459. Yeah, well, this would have been a great buying area, but we're a little bit late to that right here. It's a little higher than 450. It's about 460, but it's in that zone, right? So so we missed that. It's now at 480. I could put a limit order to buy it here, but let's continue searching for something that perhaps is ready.